Good morning. I'm going to talk a little bit about the electrical setup on my custom van. It's a ProMaster City. I've got I got a vent fan that I reversed that pushes air in, keeps this comfortable even in Florida, and I run that overnight, no problem, off the main battery, which is something like an 80 amp hour battery that this van came with as a ProMaster City. And I've got a 6-gauge wire running from the battery to the back. I probably should have made it a 1 or a 2 gauge. I think it's limiting my my inverter. Simple, cheap inverter, but the inverter has a built-in charge controller, which works really nice. I can see how many, I can see what my battery's at right there. And, this is being fed by this solar panel. It's a 100-watt 12-volt solar panel that basically is more power than what I need from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I use a timer to limit when I draw and when I charge some other appliances, because I basically I think I get about anywhere from 5 to 6 amps. This draws about 4 amps. This Cool refrigerator. It's a real refrigerator with a real compressor. Really impressed with it. But basically, this timer feeds that and charges my stuff while there's sun out, and I've never had an issue. At the same time, I also charge this jumper device just in case if I ever pull too much from my battery. I don't have an auxiliary battery. I mean, the only auxiliary battery I have is this thing, and I rarely use it. I keep that. You can tell that it's charging right now. And this is, I'm under some tree brush here. If I park this right under the sun, I get plenty of amps to kind of keep the fridge going, which the design on the fridge is I run it from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. while I'm driving around, while the sun is out. And if I run it on high, on the lowest setting, it will literally freeze or near freeze everything inside. And what I usually do is I'll have my sodas, beers, and whatever on the bottom getting near freezing, and then overnight whatever meats or milk or salad or cheese, whatever that I got up in the top. It's not a lot of storage, but it's enough for like 2-3 days of 3-day excursion. And I really don't go out too far, so I'm never that far from some kind of store or retail. But a little bit about the electrical, back to the electrical here. Most of the stuff is Amazon, but I've got the timer. I've got a 12-volt to USB 3 amp running off of the battery, directly off the battery. And I've got some things. I mean, this is my my positive and negative leads right off of the battery, but I have some stuff that's off the timer that I wouldn't want running overnight. I've got this fuse. I think it's a 20 amp fuse, just in case. I mean, it's a pretty sustainable setup. I haven't had, and I've been using the van. I've been out as much as a month in the van and have not had any issues where I've needed power. I cook off of this. I think it's an 800-watt stove, and I'm able to make meats and vegetables and whatnot. I usually have to run the engine and power off my air conditioner and lights to be able to get 800 amps. I know this is a 1200 watt inverter. You would think I could get something closer to 1,000. I think what's going on here is it's too far from the battery, and the gauge of the cable I'm going to need to upgrade. I've been thinking about moving this to the front of the car. It's got a remote control, a remote button, and I think I'd be able to comfortably run 1,000-watt stove. The stove is just a giant resistance, so that's probably the hardest thing to run off of an inverter. But I don't need propane. I don't need anything. I'm able to cook comfortably off of this thing, and I'll do a video on that. Also, the fridge, which is, kind of what makes this all possible is this Cool. It's going for about 180 bucks on Amazon. This thing is amazing. I mean, it's not a lot of space, but I don't need a lot of space. I mean, I'll drink water at room temperature, and you know, how many sodas do you really need? And just anything I don't think can handle being out in what probably will turn into 100 degrees in here if I leave this in the sun. Right now it's early morning, it's only 82. It's kind of a charge everything up during the day and then drain just enough amps, to be comfortable with running the fan overnight. I mean, I will eventually upgrade my battery to something closer to 200 amp hours, maybe get a dual purpose so that I can just stretch it out a little bit if I have to. Usually if you're driving around or you're in the sun, I've not had any kind of issue. As you can see, I just turned this on this morning, but as you can see, it's dropping quickly. Let me know what you guys think. Post any questions, and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you.